activities report group, sir.
Yes.
Madam, Amba will take care of that one, sir. We are working now. I already shared that. Activities already shared in group, sir. They are 2 and 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Which group you are in, Prashant? 2, right?
Yes,
2,
sir.
isn't it? Okay, okay. Makes sense, makes sense. You did the work, so you need to be appreciated. Yes, Prashant, great job. Okay, so let's quickly look into occupational health and safety requirements. These are the topic standard. Let me go to test. Okay, let's take one topic standard and then we will go back to our normal classes. Uh, Occupational Health and Safety Standard 2018, which is of course issued by Global Sustainability Standard Board. Remember, these GRI topic standards or sector standards are developed by a body called Global Sustainability Standard Board. Like International Sustainability Standard Board is there, ISSB. You have Global Sustainability Standard Board is there, which develops GRI reports. ISSB, which is International Sustainability Standard Board, develops IFRS Sustainability Reporting Structure, which is S1 and S2. Make sense? So next time don't get confused between these two. One is global, one is international. This document, which was developed in 2018, got implemented only in 2021. Make sense? 1st January 2021 onward, this document is valid. Now, are you aware recently even ISO standard has updated their one of the oldest environmental standards? Are you aware about that? They have published in 2026. Very famous one.
It was one.
14,001. Okay, 14,001 they have published recently. Remember, that is one of the basic document they have updated with massive amount of effort and work. Okay, so if you are following 14,001 and for environment purposes in Indian International Organization for Standards documents, then you have to go and update yourself. Make sense? Now remember, what is 403? Anybody who is aware about what happens in this department? Anybody is from that department? Who all are from EHS department today joining us, or who has worked in EHS department in past?
With workplace safety and health.
Absolutely. So what is expected
Workplace.
from workplace safety, Sanjay ji? What is expected? What we should expect?
You know that you maintain a system where you take care of that the accidents are avoided. The first aid, injury, and other assistance is always available. And you have procedures, systems and procedures to ensure that there is no injury or any mishap in the workplace, and the health of the people in terms of exposure to the chemicals or physical environment in the workplace does not affect the health of the person.
Absolutely. So that's the basic tenet, and GRI 403 says that this should be reported. All of this, anything which is related to occupational health and safety, has to be reported under 403 topic standard in detail. So if your company has identified under GRI 3, anybody in group 1 or 2 has identified occupational health and safety as a material topic?
From group 1, I did it.
You did
sir.
it, right? You identified there is a material topic which is occupational health and safety.
Occupational.
You
Yeah.
have to come here now and start developing that document in detail. Are you getting,
Okay.
Sindhuja? This is the next
Yeah.
step. This is the next step. What all you do here? You do 3 P's. 3P. Remember 3 P's.
Okay.
First, you will start with prevention. You will make sure that you prevent any kind of physical or mental, so even psychological harm to
Yeah.
any worker who is working with them. For example, I am shouting to teach you, not allowed. Sindhuja can ban it, saying it's very material for my company. Anybody shouts on the shop floor, not allowed. Right? because it may harm mentally to their worker. Any large sound, by the way, not this was the joke, but reality is if there is a huge sound, you have to give protective gear to your staff. How many of you are aware about it in EHS? It is mandatory. Anybody who is working, Sanjay ji?
Yeah, it is 85 decibels. Any sound
Absolutely.
above 85 decibels, yeah, if you are exposed for more than 8 hours, you need to have the
Gear. And if it takes
gear protection.
cost, yes, pay it. Current company has to pay for it. And put that here under prevention. Then go to promotion. You got the idea? 35 decibel, you have to recommend. Then you go to promotion where you will be promoting workers' health and well-being. Now, how will you do that? Anyone? Prashant, Kanti Prashant, Dibakar, Sambhavi, what do you think? What you should do so that you
Medical
can promote?
checkups, medical
Sorry?
health screening, medical checkups, insurance.
You can check there.
Medicals, health.
Yes, you will conduct a medical testing campaign for your employee. That's the promotion, right? If somebody has B12 less or C13 less, I don't know if C13 exists in vitamin, but I'm just saying, right? Any kind of stuff you find out in that testing drive, you start helping those people. Make sense, everyone? That's the promotion. And what is participation? Anyone who wants to go ahead and tell me what is participation? How will you engage your worker in creating those policy and processes as well? Anyone? What will you do? If you are the EHS manager, Dipti or Thirumal or Biju, what will you recommend? Biju, Kshitij.
So we'll try to take feedback from them.
Absolutely. You will try to take feedback from them, making sure that whatever policy you are developing, there is somebody looking, your own team member, and whether they like it or not like it. Does this OHS policy helps them or inhibit them from operating at their peak performance? For example, let me give you an example. Okay, you decided that they should have a hearing gear. Yeah, because the 35 decibel is crossing in locality. Now that guy has a problem now. What is the problem by wearing here, hearing aid or that noise cancellation devices? What's the problem? Are you getting my point? Because I wanted to do prevention, I recommended a hearing gear for protecting his ears above 35 decibel. In my company, there is a lathe machine working which is having more than 35, definitely maybe 45 decibels.
It is 85 decibels. 85.
Absolutely.
It is 85.
Somebody might be there in that. You remember Kanti Prasant episode in his company? Somebody invaded that area. Nobody was able to observe because they believed the system, and that system has worked against that guy as well as that worked against that robot. Both were not at fault. One was doing his duty, another, I don't know what happened to that guy, he invaded that area. Okay. Similarly, this guy is wearing hearing gear. He might have some accident happening and he is not aware about it. Are you getting my point? He might be in that zone where vehicles are passing and he is not able to see them. It happens in airport. How many of you are aware about it? Have you seen people who are guiding that airport with like this signs and then go here, go there, they are guiding the aeroplane? Actually, they are at very big risk. Okay? Because they are not able to hear anything else than the instruction which they are giving to those guys or those guys speaking to him. Nothing at all. So those also is a part of participation. This is what participating will help you to understand ground reality as well. That okay, these out of these three guys, only two guys will get. One guy is only temporarily exposed, maybe someday 8 hours, but not necessarily all the time 8 hours. That guy has to be recluses from there. And those decision happens through GRI 403 reporting. And that is the level of thinking you require. Make sense, everyone? Clear? Any problem? Of course, ILO, there are different guidelines which you will be using to write this report. But these are the basics here. Now, remember, where does GRI fits today? So, of course, universal standard you have already seen, 1, 2, 3. Sector standard is 11 to 18. 4 are already existent, 4 are coming, which identifies the material topic for that specific sector. while topic standard 403, where you are currently in, maybe for lot many company this will be priority number 1, specifically manufacturing sector. It is a priority number 1 because any life lost is a crime in manufacturing sector. Your company can be closed because of this. Make sense? Now, a scope of worker here is 3 things. You should always divide your employees. So there are employees, there are non-employee worker, and there is non-employee workers linked or controlled. This is how you do that. How do you know difference between staff and employee? Anyone? Staff and employee. What is the difference between a staff and employee? Are you thinking? This is how the thinking cap will come. There is a difference, by the way. There is a difference. Let's hear from Sanjay Chaudhary ji.
One of the differentiator is staff is supervisory, and employees are task oriented. They do what task has been given, whereas staff has a supervisory role.
Sindhuja, what do you think?
Staff are like a group of people, and employee is like an individual.
But I think one could be temporary and one is permanent.
No, Kshitiz, no, not at all. Not at all. Tell me what is called what Kshitiz said. What is Kshitiz's definition actually? That definition is called contractual labor versus non-contractual one. Okay, that is not a staff and employees. Okay, the staff and employee, Sindhuja and Sanjay ji, what they said was near. Make sense? Any agency worker, contractor, self-employed person, volunteer who are visiting your premise, they are included as non-employee worker because they are coming for your work, but they are not your employee, right? And they are controlled because the moment they will enter, that's why you will hear as a consultant when you enter, they will say put helmet, put gear, that neon color. Correct? Kanti Kansi is not speaking, but he always does. Anybody goes to his company, he always puts, sir, first thing, wear that plastic on your shoes. He will make sure that at least the consultant, chartered accountants, anybody who is visiting the premise. Yeah. Sometimes they don't feel liking, but that is what is required there. Right? And non-employee workers are those workers who work is not controlled by the organization. But OHS is significantly impacted by the organization's operation of these guys, product or services by relationship. So anything your product touches, for example, a transport guy, Kanti, he might be your subcontractor. He is just coming there to load material. He is sitting in the driver's seat. He is not even leaving his driver's seat. But he is taking your material, right? And if he is carrying a hazardous material, will he not be knowing that this is a hazardous material? He is not a he is not a controlled employee, but he is a linked employee. Okay, his UHS is also Kanti Prasad responsibility. So he will be given a pamphlet where it will be written the material loaded has so much of hazardous, so much of chemicals, so much of this. Please be known to it. If you jump, if you run, if you speed, you will not only endanger other people's life, you will endanger your life. This training need to be given, and that again is covered under GRI 403. Make sense, everyone? So next time you will define these for your company. Who all are these guys? What are their number? What are their quantum? And how you are impacting them. Now, management disclosure happens through these particular requirements. So if you look into 403, and many of you have already done the homework, so great job. OHS management system you will describe here. While 4032, you will be talking about hazardous ID, risk assessment of those, right? And incidents investigation. Do you know incidents investigation? And there is a matrix which you develop called, what is it called? A matrix which a sustainability officer or a EHS officer will develop.
HIRA matrix.
HIRA matrix. What is the full form of HIRA matrix?
Hazard identification risk assessment.
Absolutely, exactly. That gets reported in 4032. So next
that
time,
is the combination of probability and severity.
Absolutely, you have to write that as well. Then comes 403-3, where you talk about what are those services which you are offering under OHS, which is occupational health and service. Yes, Dibakaji.
I am just listening.
Then
I'm listening.
404, you will be talking about worker participation, how you are engaging them, are you asking them question, are you training them, all that will be listed here. Where it will be listed? 403.4. Are you training them? What is the frequency of training? Does your conference rooms are equipped with HSC descriptions? Do you have exit and entry separated? Do you have that exit light always on? Do you have your emergency lights written with emergency? All this is very essential, okay? People take it very lightly. Emergency light, nobody checks even. But if there is a hazardous or say fire in your company, everything will be covered in, smoke. That time that emergency light helps you. Okay, that time that green light will help you to get out of it. Funny but very important. Yes, so people will remember that day. They will try to find it out why Kanti has not done this 403-4. By the way, Toyota, large company, they are very serious about it. They spend lot of money, unnecessary money, but they spend on this. Okay, they will change the battery, they will change the emergency light. Correct, Kanti? And they have a frequency to change it. Okay, there will be a list written there that when they are changing, and that is what you report here. 4035, you talk about worker trainings. What are the training program you have arranged? Did you do TNA, training need analysis? Have you programmed them? Which labor, which person will attend which kind of OHS training? That also described. And then you talk about the worker health promotion by testing them, training them, making them aware about those vaccine, etc. Right? This is also your duty. It's your duty. You will put those advertisement on right places where people are working on assembly line can see and get influence and go and get that injection on them. Right? All that is your duty. Last but not least, you also report about 4037, which is prevention, mitigation, and business relationship. Is it clear, everyone, that how to report? Now, once that is clear, HERA matrix is very important. In GRI, that ideally what people does is collect that HERA matrix, which is developed by the sustainability department, and put it here. But ideally, you should follow this structure. What is that structure? First thing, hierarchy of control you have to define. That what you are eliminating, what you are trying to eliminate, which risk you are trying to eliminate. So falling of any material, you are trying to eliminate. You are also trying to eliminate if somebody is walking and there is a gap in between. Those incidences also you try to eliminate. So you have to eliminate certain stuff. Certain stuff need to be substituted, certain initiatives need to be controlled, certain initiatives need to be controlled through administrative work, and last but not least, you have to provide them PPE. What is the full form of PPE? What is the full form? In Corona we used it, correct? In COVID?
Equipment.
Correct. Okay. Now, disclosure 4.3346 requires following stuff in detail. So this is the detail. OHS service requires what? You identify and eliminate hazard. You quality assurance services need to be provided. Worker access facilitated. Confidentiality of health data is provided. 403-4 is participation, where you talk about joint management worker committee, formal direct participation if they are directly involved or not involved. You also talk about consultation before making decision. Have you engaged Thirumal, anybody in the company before you took the decision on that particular initiative? By, for example, introducing a helmet. For example, putting that hearing gear. Have you involved those ground workers or not is very important, and then you have to do the protection from reprisal. Now, training is very important. Generic OHS training has to be given to everyone. Then comes hazard specific training, training during paid hours, and effectiveness of evacuated. You have to test these activities. Have you seen the drills, fire drills happening in company once in a while? Yeah. There has to be a proper arrangement to it. There has to be sequence, which month you will do it and why. What is that surprise element? All that EHS manager decide in the beginning itself. Correct, Kanti? You do it. Kanti Prasant, you do it all the time.
Sir, yes, sir. Actually, as per Karnataka state rules, you need to conduct mock drills from every once in 3 months.
Every month, 3 months. You have that.
Once
But there
in
is
3
a
months, once in
surprise
3
ones
months.
as well, where you test whether people are reacting it or not. Correct?
Uh,
There will
yes,
be
sir.
a
Yes, sir. We need
false
to inform
alarm
all.
done, and you will check how many people left their seat, how many didn't do it. Yeah, thinking that it's a false alarm. So all that
Sir,
these guys check.
from our side, we are doing the monthly 3 months once, sir. Training and also everything. Recently, we did, sir. Recently, 2 days
Recently
back,
you
we did.
did. Awesome. Awesome.
That fire drill was conducted by Karnataka State Fire Emergency, sir.
Achha, you call them as well?
Sir, because of fire service day, na, sir, April 14th.
Yes,
For that
yes, yes.
one, we
Yeah, that
invite
day
them.
is anyway, everybody has to do. Yes. In Bangalore, you
Yes,
have
sir.
to do. Yes.
Yes,
True.
sir. Yes, sir.
Perfect. Yeah, and then of course you promote the health through voluntary health programs, etc. Now, if you have seen that part, of course, last part is topic disclosures, work-related disclosure. Now, here the GRI plays a major role. Remember, if somebody is missing this part, they talked about everything good, that I am doing 3 months, I am also doing on Karnataka Health Fire Department Day, I am celebrating, etc., etc. They talked about in between 403, 1 to 8. But they did miss 9. Is that report balanced? Is the balance principle of that report is maintained? Absolutely not. If this part is missing, always remember balance is missing. Hence, make sure you report about it. Fatality, report 0. If you have 0, report 0. And then convert them into proper matrix, which even BRSR is asking. What are those matrix? Lost time injury is major matrix, right? Everybody talks about. They have introduced FR as well. What is the frequency of that? LTI, FR. That's the matrix. Formula is in front of you, everyone. And there are two matrices here. Sometime 2 lakh and sometime 10 lakh. Right? You will be dividing that number of hour worked. Prashant, why do you divide sometime 2 lakh and why you divide sometime 10 lakh? Are you aware about it, first of all? To calculate the frequency. Anyone? Why you use 2 lakh sometime to divide number of incident divided by hour of work, multiply by this number, right? Why you take 2 lakh sometime and why you take 10 lakh sometime hours?
I think the standards are varying in different countries.
Correct. It's based on the
Indian
country.
countries and one is like European standard, UK standard, they use 2 lakhs. 200,000 they call it, not 2 lakhs, or 200,000.
Correct. Of course, their number will be different. So, total working hour available, that's what you multiply with.
Right.
Total working hour in your country, whatever is available, that's you multiply. So, it can be 2 lakh, it can be 10 lakh, or anywhere in between, based on you are 24/7 you are working only 6 day a work, you have a 5 day a work, you have a 4 day, you have a 3 day. In France, you have 3 day. Let's go to France. How many of you want to go to France now? Don't go. Don't leave India. Okay, work here. Multiply by 1 lakh, 10 lakh. Okay. Otherwise, best place is France nowadays. Okay, 3 or 4 days of working. Who doesn't like it? Yeah, rest of the day enjoy. Now, work-related ill health. These are those two sides. What must be reported and what has to be identified. Let's look at into types of work-related ill health. Under 4010, these are the items which you will be reporting. So, mental illness need to be reported. Disease from biological agents need to be reported. Okay. Now, what must be reported means they need to be categorized, and what needs to be reported is fatality from work-related ill health. People try to suppress. Number of recordable ill health cases, generally people type. Main type of ill health, they will not disclose. Hazard that pose risk of ill health, of course, putting yourself on the sword, who likes it. Now, you should know these are the essential matrix and you have to report under 40310. Makes sense? And this is the summary of key takeaway for the day. Always remember, it applies to employees and controlled non-employees worker. It doesn't apply to non-employee workers which are linked. You can report them, but it's not applies to them. 403. Clear? So contractors, agency staff, volunteers, everybody will be included. Those drivers who are not under your control might not be reported by you. Now, 10 total disclosure has to be done from the 7 management disclosure, which is 401 to 407, right? 403. Sorry?
ಅರುಣ್ ಸರ್ ರಂಗಾರಾವ್ SCM ಅವರ ಸರ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು.
Oh,
ನಮ್ದು
sorry, I
ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ
missed
CEO
it.
ಸರ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ 900.
Yeah. Now he's explaining to somebody else what he's learning. Okay, he's distributing the wealth of. This is a wealth. How many of you treat your knowledge as a wealth? Sambhavi, Prashant, Kshitij, do you guys really think knowledge is wealth and you should distribute that? Dipti, Biju, these people do not. They think wealth को hoard करने का, लक्ष्मी को बोलते हैं always बांटने का, है ना? Always give as much as you can. Then only.
Always sharing.
Sorry, Prasad. This distribution is the best.
Always sharing and always gaining also.
The more you share, more you gain. Okay, that's what he is doing. He is doing live. He is training other people live. Good job or bad job? Absolutely appreciable job. Now, always remember, worker participation is essential. Even without workplace control, organization must address OHS impact in their value chain. They must do it, but it not necessarily need to be reported. Make sense, everyone? It must do it, but not necessarily to be reported. So, same function of India. Donate करो, नाम नहीं लिखने का उधर. Yes, without name donation. That is what in OHS most of the people does. Clear है सबको? Everybody got a clarity? Yes? Everybody got a clarity? किसी को कोई doubt? Any question? Any question?
So when we generally say EHS department, does it mean GRI 403, EHS, OHS?
Come again. I didn't get your question. Sorry.
So at least in India, we talk about EHS departments, and so when we say that, can we tie that to GRI 403?
Absolutely. 403 EHS department has to report. They will be the responsible by the way, they are the responsible department. If you ask me, they are the responsible department. Make sense?
Yep.
EHS in addition to safety, will have the environmental responsibility also. EHS, environment, health and safety.
Absolutely. That's the name.
That department have to look at environmental management and safety management and occupational health management.
Okay.
Correct.
Whereas OHS is only occupational health and safety. OHS.
Got it.
Just a minute. Somebody is asking me to open the chat. Open Dipti. You can type in now for everyone. Yes. Done. Yes. Clear? Any doubt? Any question? Okay. If there is no question, let me take one more fourth standard, and then we will go to your reviews, because I know the time is very less, but still I have to cover that, otherwise you won't be able to do the assignment. Okay, and I want you to do the assignment. So let me open that PPT as well. Okay, now customer health and safety is one of the prominent argument in modern day developed countries. Again, it is developed in 2016 and got effective in 2018. But today people are using to report anything related to customer, which is 4016. Now, if you see what is required here, so three things which are critical about GRI 4016 is life cycle. Okay, what you need to check is assess the health and safety across all product and services life cycle stages of a company. For example, if somebody is making Apple watches, right? What it needs to see that when Apple procures the raw material, which is rubber, steel, aluminium, right, all that, as you know, sometimes silicons, yeah, all that which they buy as a raw material, they have to check that how that raw material mining, transportation, and even when manufacturing is happening, how that impact to their stakeholder. Clear? And that the customer who will receive, will he be happy about this situation? For example, if you are doing blood diamond mining and putting into your watch, yeah, Balenciaga, all these brands, there are some brands who might be doing this, right? Some of them are known for doing those kind of stuff. So if those are using those diamonds, will your customer appreciate that? That's what you have to see. Now people who are buying such kind of stuff, maybe they are appreciating, we don't know. Maybe, yeah. So you have to look that complete life cycle. You can't even ignore the raw material. So you cannot focus only on your scope 1. You remember scope 1 where you are owning or controlling that activity. Actually you have to go beyond that. You have to go to upstream and you have to go to downstream to make this judgment that any part of my operation, how it impacts my customer. And that is why life cycle is that word which comes into customer health and safety requirements or reporting. Now anybody in the group 1 or 2 have identified customer health and safety as a major critical issue, material issue? Did you identify? No, right? Nobody identified that, correct? Sorry, I'm not able to hear.
No.
No, okay. Now, so here we are talking about reporting their impact on customer health and safety and how they are going to manage these impacts. And here comes the second part of the equation, and that is compliance. Today, there are majority of the compliances which are requiring you to talk about your customer health and safety. Talk about customer problems. So if customer has a reservation on your product, how you are handling it, especially telecom industry, industry which is involved in D2C, direct to customer linkages, how you are addressing your customer problems. Are they getting impacted? How they are reporting? All that need to be reported here. So remember, this standard covers the systemic effort to address health and safety across the product life cycle, or adhering it to applicable rules and regulation as well. For example, if you are in food manufacturing, tell me which industry standard you will be following in India. Which industry standard which covers the customer protection or customer health and safety? FSSAI, FASSAI, right? That is the authority you will be following. Consumer codes also, that Grahak Jago, that slogan. So all that will be your consideration. Those are compliance requirements. And the third one is there is a customer right which takes you to the court of consumer code. So that again gets reflected in customer rights, that they have a right. If they are paying you money, you have to allow them to return it. Have you heard this conspiracy that sometime they will say, we will not take any return? You have to understand, if you are buying something, there will be a time which a manufacturer or supplier has to provide to their customer as a consumer right, that they can come and complain about it. Make sense? So customer had those rights, or they say it's citizen charter. Have you heard citizen charter? Specifically in airline industry, all those industry which directly gets which impacts the customer directly. Okay, these guys have a bigger, what do you mean by scopes, Dipti? I didn't cover all the scopes here. What do you mean by scopes, Dipti? Yeah, I didn't understood that part, so you have to tell me a little more. Customer rights is that customer have the rights, or they want to be that they should not be supplied with hazardous good. Yeah, it is LCA. You are right, everything. Non-hazardous product and services, everything need to be disclosed. So that is why label is very important. Label is very important, and you are responsible for it, whoever is doing, and that gets reported in GRI 416. So if you are producing good labels, if you are writing all those requirements, first FASSI stamp is there, you will be talking about all about in 416 in detail. Now, how GRI 416 is organized? Of course, section 1, 2 and glossary. These are the three major sections are there. If you look into section 1, that is topic management disclosure, that how the organization manages your customer health and safety during disclosure 3.3 in GRI, or material topics which we have just completed, right? You guys have already listed those topics and the management of the same. You have listed. So we'll be talking about that right after this. And you may have topic disclosure as well. We have two specific disclosures. Specifically, we are talking about 4161 assessment and 4162 assessment. These two, which is non-compliance. So assessment and compliance both need to be written. So did you assess your customer health and safety impact through your product life cycle? You have to report about that. And if you have done that, are you having some non-compliances there? You have to voluntarily tell the world, yeah, I found out there is a gap. There is certain kind of radiation which we produce through our telecom equipment, which I can't control. Yeah, but there is no study. They will write this as well. There is no study which proves that it impacts the DNA, and hence there is no problem. They will write that. All telecom company has to write like that. Are you getting my point? So if they are impacting the customer, they will do the assessment and then they will write the non-compliance as well, if there is any. And then of course there are defined terms at the end of the document which you need to read and understand. Now remember this life cycle stages of HNS assessment, health and safety assessment, and this is health and safety assessment, not the life cycle assessment. Okay, life cycle assessment has a scopes of, if you are asking that, Dipti, of course you don't do here. That what is the carbon footprint of each of the stage, that is not happening here. What you are seeing, the complete life cycle of that product, and do we impact health and safety of my customer because of that? And I have given you example, blood diamond mining or child labor uses in raw material side, transportation. Yeah, does this transportation kills 20 people and then it reaches? There was one very funny incident still I remember, and that was reported by SBI CAP. SBI SBI as an entity produces one of the best report in India, by the way. They uses 5 different frameworks to report. The document is 500 to 600 pages. I don't know what is the current size in 2026, but 500 to 600 pages. And one of the incidents they have reported that one of their subsidiary, okay, NBFC Bank, has recorded last 3 years. When they collected the data, they found out last 3 years, there is one number which is persistent, and that number was fatality number. And that number they saw in 2020, they saw in 2021, and they saw in 2022. Now 2020, they understood that it is a outlier. Why? Why there was an outlier in 2021 in terms of fatality?
So
COVID, because their people went for recovery and they died on the site. They have to record that and produce into the report. 2021 also they understood maybe some people died because it was second wave in India. But 2023 they got that number again, and then they got puzzled and they started inquiry that why this subsidiary of ours, SBI Cap Invest in NBFC, is doing this report. And you won't believe that life cycle assessment helped them to understand that part. You know what they found out about this subsidiary? How many you can guess? Try to guess. What could be the reason of a NBFC company reporting people dying? बैंक में कौन मरता है भाई? बैंक तो सबसे सेफ जॉब है ना. हमारे पुराने जमाने तो बोलते थे बच्ची की शादी करना है बैंक वाले से करो. Sorry?
Oh, you're saying customers or employees?
Customers are?
No, you are talking about customers dying or
No, this dying? Is their employee dying. So first 2 years they understood that they are maintaining the essential services, so they might have died. But third year again it came. So the lady who is the head of SBI sustainability, she was giving us this case study, okay? And she told us this, that boss, when we did the life cycle assessment of our whole operation in NBFC, we realized that this number is going to be there forever, because this NBFC operates in Bengal, West Bengal, okay? And there is a massive problem of these guys, recovery guys, getting beaten and sometimes dying. This is specific nature of that area, that these guys used to go for collection and they used to die, and this is a normal number for them. Are you getting
So that's why I was thinking it would have been otherwise.
Otherwise, instead of customer dying, customer killing the recovery agent.
Suicide because of the bank loan.
Yeah, suicide could be one case. Instead of these guys, the West Bengal people are very strong, right? Why I should die? I will make this guy die. Are you getting? And that's why that Dipti would have been known even. She is in Darjeeling. Correct, Dipti? This is possible in certain areas of West Bengal. And that is what they found out. That is why this life cycle assessment of customer and impacting their operation has to be seen. Yeah, and now you understood what just Sanjay said, that even customer can die because of your recovery. Because of your recovery, customer can die, and that's the point which we have to report under 416. Yes, it could be in development and product concept level, it could be in certification level, it could be in research and development level, it could be manufacturing production, marketing promotion, storage distribution, use or service, or even disposal, reuse, recycling, which for bank may be recovery. Bank is doing recovery at the end, right, of their money, so that they can pay their depositor. And there might be some people dying, having suicide, has to be reported here. Clear why 416 is important? Make sense, everyone?
I have one question.
Please.
You mentioned about burden take. Burden take, to some extent, 416 is applicable in the material topic called product quality and safety. Product quality and safety is one of the material topic where, to a large extent, 416 requirements
is required. Correct. And I think this is product and service life cycle only I am talking about. So that is how they are linked. Yes. So assessment of health and safety impact happens through percentage of significant product and service category which you have, and they are impacting health and safety impact to be assessed for improvement. This assessment is not for
that material topic they are calling product quality and safety.
Achha, they are saying product quality and safety. Okay.
Which is customer related, yeah.
Absolutely. So is this quality is good enough, or it may take somebody's life? Yeah, maybe that could be the case. So why it matters? Of course, it identifies any extent of systemic, range or systemic effort which is required here. Organization can also describe criteria used for this assessment in detail, and then they should put a higher percentage, means they have to take action. If the number is higher, they have to take action. That product should not go into the market. If the product safety is not effective, if each product is killing one person, means your customer will die eventually, all the customers. So you can't send it in the market. Now, if you have a non-compliance, which is HSH impact product and services, what will you do? You will divide into 3 types. The type number 1 is fine and penalty, where there is a possibility of fine and penalty, like jurisdiction like United States, right? If your product is faulty, don't send it to United States, because they will come to your home and charge you. Yes, they have that capacity. If you are in pile 2, which is warning, you have to put a non-compliance regulation resulting in formal warning. By regulatory authority, you have to identify that. The last category is voluntary code breaches. That also need to be reported eventually. Yes, and specifically non-compliance with voluntary codes and organization today has committed to regarding customer health and safety. That has to be reported under 416-2. So have you understood assessment and non-compliance? Both need to be reported to the extent it is implied. Now what you can exclude from 16.2? From reporting, what can you exclude? You can exclude incidences where organization was determined not to be at fault. So if there is a result also came that this fire incidents was not a responsibility of that product. For example, mobile was blasting. Do you remember mobile and Ola was blasting on the road? Have you seen those?
Yes, sir.
And if that company went to certain authority and they give them the clean sheet saying, no, this is not the mobile problem, this was the extra charging, or this was the extra weather, and this year there will be too much of fire happening. Yes, I have to stop the call. Okay, guys, I have to stop the call in another 5-7 minutes. Remember, 2 minutes, because the next session will be starting. So we will meet now tomorrow, and I will give you the feedback tomorrow. And we will be also covering 2 sessions, so no homework today. That's what the situation is. Yeah, but let me complete this part. What you should include: any incidents which is formally resolved during the reporting period, even if they occurred in prior period. Last but not least, any incidents that relates to the event in prior reporting period, identify these separately. You can't put it in current reporting period saying that this is my last year data. You have to really categorize them separately, make a separate box, say that this was the last year situation, this is this year's situation. And if there is no compliance, non-compliance, identify, you have to make a brief statement to the same. Yes. Now there are a few slides more. Let me cover that as well quickly, or take a screenshot. Remember that why it matters. It matters because of following 4 reasons. Product perform their intended function satisfactory or not, need to be identified. This is what customer expect from you. Second, product and service do not pose health or safety risk. He is putting money and then you put his life at risk. Is it fair? Absolutely not fair. Yes, so you disclose that or remove it. Right to seek readdress where health and safety is affected. So anybody died driving Ola, it's Mr. Bhavis Agrawal responsibility, not that poor guy that he bought a wrong scooter. Clear? Last but not least, access to safe and non-hazardous product across value chain has to be promoted and effectively developed. Now, if you remember 403 worker OHS, you have to compare that with customer HS. How will you do that? Remember, focus here is worker, focus here is end user. Scope is workplace injuries, scope is product safety, life cycle impacts. Disclosure is 10 disclosure, which we saw 403-1 to 403-10, while 2 disclosure 416 1 and 2 only is available in 416. Key matrices: injury health, here percentage category, that how much percentage category in type 1, type 2, either non-compliance, etc. Life cycle always is focused on work environment. It covers the full product life cycle. Life cycle, not their carbon footprint. What is related to GRI 403, ILO standards, OECD, WHA framework. Here OECD standards for multinational enterprises is essential. Make sense? Now let's do the summary. 416 at a glance. It covers health and safety. It is used only for two different percentage of category assess and percentage of non-compliance incidents by type need to be reported. Of course, you will be talking about non-compliance broken into 3 types: fine, penalty, warning, and voluntary code breaches. Labeling is very important, and non-compliance incidences are identified with brief summary provided is essential. Remember, organizations should use 417, the next standard, for marketing and labeling for a complete customer facing disclosure picture. So 416 sometimes is also requiring 417. Remember that. With that, we have come to end of today's session. I won't be able to cover your feedbacks, but definitely we will be doing it in the next session, which is happening tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
So we have a session tomorrow.
Bye.
Tomorrow we will have a session. Yes, 7 to 9, normal session.
7 to 9. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye. Bye.